Gaming. I'm coming at you with another deck profile here. After hanging out this weekend at the card shop, Omni Cards, Collectibles, and Gaming, I had to do a little more testing for this deck. This is going to be a Muzan deck for you guys. I did have this deck built before the weekend, but I had to do some testing with it, and this deck isn't as, straightforward to build as I previously thought. Before we get into the cards too much, I was running more of just like a straight Muzan package, running a lot of the lower cost Muzans, and really kind of maxing out on a lot of the cards that would kill your characters. But that really wasn't the right way to go, to be honest. That felt a little bit like you were killing your stuff too much, and you really didn't have any defense on the game or any other top end. I wasn't running another top end other than the Muzan. So this deck kind of, is going to merge the idea of trying to get enough cards in your trash, but you're really putting out a lot of like 0 and 1 drop, 2 drop bodies on the board just to let them, get sidelined to get you to that point in the game. I think if you go to full build on the Muzan packages, you're searching for a lot of things, but you're really not able to keep yourself in the game before you can get to the high payoff of the Muzan. But with that caveat out of the way, I do think that this deck profile, this list, does work a lot better, and let's get into it. So starting off at the top end like we always do, we're going to Akaza. Yes, the upper ranked demon number 3. He is such a strong character in the show, and he translates to the game as a super strong character too. 6 energy costs, 2 action points. That seems pretty steep, but the payoff is big for him. We do run, 10 to 12 double energy generators, and you can run more than that if you're worried about it, but I do think that this Akaza is so essential in the deck. He kind of gives you another way to win the game and put some pressure on your opponent that you don't really have in this deck without running him alongside the Muzan. I do think that 4 is a little bit too much for him, but you have to kind of like work around like what you think is, good numbers for this card. But it is a really strong card. I do like him a lot. But he has 6 energy, 2 action points. Going on tangents here. When played, this character is set to active on your field. So whereas he doesn't get to raid, he does come out active, and it does cost 2 action points. So you can kind of surprise your opponent with this character if they think, oh, okay, maybe he's going to raid Enmu or something like that. Once you get to the 6 energy, you're going to have energy a lot in this deck because the Muzans, they only cost 4 and they generate the 2 energy. So you have 6 energy pretty steadily throughout the game because you're waiting to move the Muzans up. So until you get to move the Muzans up, the Akaza is where you get your pressure. So I think that he's the main card to highlight at the start here. Play this character set to active onto your field. When played, you may place up to 2 cards from your hand into your sideline. If you do, this character gains Snipe and Impact 1 until the end of the turn. So really good card. You're wanting to get 20 cards in your trash anyways. The bottom end of the deck has a lot of ways to draw you cards when your bodies are sidelined. Really cool event cards in here who also let you draw cards. And a lot of the triggers are, get or actives, draw cards. So you got a lot of ways to get cards in your hands. But this Akaza just lets you be able to trash those cards, give him Snipe and Impact. And he's 4,000 bodies, so he's going to be able to, take out whatever their character is. So really essential in the deck. But moving on, we spent a lot of time on this guy, but I do think that he's essential in the deck to run as at least a 3 of, maybe 4 if you want to fit it. That's probably too much. But this is definitely one of the stars of the show. The next one being the Muzan. We've talked about him before. It's a Muzan deck. We're running him at a 4 of. I think in my previous list, I was running him at a 3 of, but then just didn't see him enough because this is the main star of the deck with the Akaza. He's so strong. He's 4 energy, 1 action point, 5,000 BP, which is so insane. And he generates 2 energy. So he's always going to be generating you energy because you're going to play him early, hopefully on curve on turn 3. You're able to play him out, and then that way you just steadily have him in your backline. He's always staying in your backline because he also has Impact 2, Damage 2, and then this character cannot be played onto or moved to your front line unless you have 20 or more cards in your sideline. And he's a get trigger in life. There are some cheeky plays that I think a lot of people thought they could do before ahead of time, but some of the cards in this deck will let you switch characters from your energy line to your front line, but he overrides that, where you cannot do that with this character. You must have the 20 cards in your sideline before he can ever be moved up to your front line. Super strong card, star of the deck, 4 energy, 1 action points. Got so much going on. 2 impact, 2 damage, 5,000 BP. He is the king of the demons for a reason. Super strong card, what the deck is all about. And he's a get trigger in your life too. And you don't mind adding the, like, say you have one in your hand and you draw 2 more from your life. You're perfectly fine with that, because you get to have him in your hand and he's your win condition. You know, you go onto these turns, maybe turn 4, you have the 20 cards in your sideline, and you get to move up 1 or 2 Muzans. Now you got 2 impact, 2 damage, or that's 4 damage in 1 turn. And there's not a lot of things in the game that have 5,000 BP, but he is the king of the demons for a reason. Going to our only raid target in the deck, I think beforehand I was only running 3, but this card is essential in the deck too to max out of 4 of. The top end of this deck, you with 4, 4, and a 6 energy drop. This card is super strong. It's Enmu, really cool demon in the show, the movie. 4 energy, 1 action point, 4,000 plus BP, so we know he's getting boosted. It generates you 1 energy, and he gets to be rated on top of an Enmu. If you have 15 or more cards in your sideline, this character gains 500 BP. Really strong card to help control the board early in the game. When your opponent puts out some of these 4,000 bodies, you have an answer with this Enmu. It makes them either decide to block it, lose their 4K body, or take the hit. One of the few cards that kind of lets you push the pace of the game early, as opposed to having to slow down. So I think the Enmu is essential out of 4 of in this deck. Please do not run it at any less, because we are running 4. I do wish they would have gave us another Enmu. Maybe a 0 drop would have been perfect, but then that maybe would have made the deck a little too consistent. But this Enmu is a get trigger, 4,000 plus BP. When so strong. When played, draw 2 cards, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. Another reason you want to see it, because you play this Enmu, you draw 2 cards, put 1 in the sideline, say they do find a way to kill the Enmu. Now you got the Enmu and the 1 underneath it. That's, you know, 4 cards in the sideline from this 1 card. Super strong card. Have to run it out of 4 of. Absolutely have to. Going down the line, we're going to Rui. Really cool spider, lower rank demon. I think in the show, one of the first ones that Tanjiro has to come up with, and it is a really cool character. He's really strong. Love this character. 3 energy, 1 action point, 2,500 BP, and he generates you 2 energy, which is essential. So strong. He also has a when played, if a character has been sidelined this turn, choose up to 1 character in your opponent's front line, and it loses 1,500 BP until the end of the turn. This character is so strong. If you can get multiple of him out, you can have a small body out, play your spell that lets you kill 1 of your guys, draw 2 cards, play another one, kill 1 of your guys, draw 2 cards. This character just lets you play it, give something -5, 1,500 BP, and really you're not using him to take out big bodies. You're using him to clear their early board off the game. Because like I said, it takes time to get to this Muzan. Perfectly, curve 4 turned out, you maxed out, but minimum probably turn 5 that you're going to be able to try to move up a Muzan. This Rui is essential at controlling the board, so it may seem like you want to use this character to, you know, neg 1,500 BP on something so you can get some early swings in, but I promise you, that's not what you want to do with this character. Use this Rui to control the little characters on their board and get them off of there, so that way you're not taking so much damage, and then force them to be able to block your Enmu and other cards that you're playing. And it is also an active trigger in life. I do wish that this one was a get trigger, because this card is really important, but we don't have enough room to run this out of 4. And we want to be lower in on more 2 and 0 drops than we do the 3s, and we have to max out on 1 of the 3s in the deck. But a really cool card, 2,500 BP. Super strong card. Usually him and Muzan are taking up your backline spots, and they're the only 2 that you need there. You just have those 2 down there, and you're ready to go for the rest of the game until you show up for your Akazas, which you will probably have, you know, other characters in your backline. Going down the line, we're going to lower rank demon. This card is 3 energy, 1 action point, 3,500 BP, which is actually really strong. This is one of your characters that is going to help you press early in the game. If he had a trigger, we would max this one out of 4 of, but him not having a trigger is an issue for us, so we're not running him out of 4 of, but he is 3,500 BP, generates you that 1 energy, and then with sideline, if it's your turn, which is very important because there are ways to, you know, play some cards, but when sideline, if it's your turn, choose up to 1 character in your opponent's front line, it loses 2,000 BP until the end of the turn. So you can get where we're going at here. You can clear off big bodies with these 2 characters alone, if you're able to, you know, sideline this card. So like, say you can, use your spell, sideline this card, give something minus 2,000, and then when played, after that you play the Rui, and it lets you minus another 1,500. So that alone lets you clear off a 3,500 BP body if you're able to try to do that. Really good combo there with the event card later, but really good card, 3,500 BP. You can use this as a blocker for the turn. Like I said, you really don't want to push the pace in the game that much. You want to try to use these characters to control the board a lot more. If you feel like you couldn't lose this character swinging into life, don't risk it. Let them be able to play their cards, waste action points out of their turn. You want to play this deck very conservative, control the board, don't risk swinging in, because you want to be able to do that later with your Muzan and your Akaza. But really strong card, love this lower two. Going down the line, we finally have our second form of the Muzan that we're running, and this is the only other Muzan we're running in the deck. It is a Muzan deck, but it's based more around the big Muzan. There are two other Muzans you can run, but I promise you those are not the ones you need to play in this deck. I do think those cards are okay, but when I was playing around with it, they just didn't feel impactful enough. And you have to run so many of these lower ranked demons that give you the win sideline effects that I think they're just much more important than trying to, play out all the Muzans. But this Muzan is the Kibitsuji Geisha form. Really cool card. I liked how Muzan can try to change his forms in the show. But he's 3 energy, 1 action point, 3,000 plus BP, which is really cool. Generates you 2 energy again. So you see here we have a lot of double energy generation in the deck. It is a color trigger in the life, and that's why we max out on this card, because this is the best part. Color trigger. Play 1 purple character with 2 or less required energy costs and 1 AP cost from your sideline set to active on your front line. So you don't want to be scared of blocking with your little guys early, like I said, to keep you in the game, because you're hoping to get one of these triggers in life. That way you can play them right back out. You don't want to go into it and not waste your blockers, because then if you hit the color trigger first one, now you don't have anything in the trash, to play out with the Muzan. But going into this character, this card is also treated as Muzan Kibutsuji. Activate main once per turn, sideline 1 other character on your field, and place the top card of your deck into your sideline. If you do, this character gains 1,000 BP until the end of the turn. Super strong card here. Helps you, sideline your characters without having to waste an action point. It's just super strong card because he doesn't have to suspend to do it. And honestly, since you don't have to suspend this character to do this, you can play out this Muzan and then sideline one of your characters if you're just trying to cycle your deck. Really versatile card. I think probably the best card in the deck. We know that it's Muzan and the Akaza that's our top end, but this is one of the most essential cards you want to see in the deck. Really strong card. Have to play it out of 4 of, I promise you. Going into our bottom end, now we're into our 2 cost. This is the smaller Enmu, and we're maxing this one out out of 4 of as well, because we're running 4 of the raid Enmu, and we want to see this card. Enmu, lower ranked demon, 2 energy, 1 action point, 2,500 BP, nothing to scoff at there, and generates you 1 energy. Also an active trigger in life, very important there, getting some triggers. When played, if a character has been sidelined this turn, draw a card. This one is really important and cool because say you go to block with someone early and then now you hit the Geisha form Muzan in your life. Now you get the color trigger to play him out onto the field. And then now when played, if a character's been sidelined this turn, this one is not, only during your turn, it's just this turn. So during your opponent's turn, if they kill something, you get to draw a card. Really cool, awesome card. Love this Enmu big time. Really consistent card. Had to run it out of 4 of. Going down the line, we are at a lower 3, lower ranked demon. This is the one with the scars on the face. 1 energy, 1 action point, 2,000 BP, 1 energy. This character has no trigger in life. A lot of the little ones don't. I think they did this for a reason, to make this deck not as consistent. Even if they were draw or get triggers, I think this deck would be absolutely insane and probably too fast and consistent for what the payoff is. So no life trigger, but it's just simple, easy, awesome effect. Win sideline, draw a card. Perfect. That's amazing. Super cool. You're not maxing on this one because you don't want to, you're going to sideline some of your characters, but if you go trying to max out all these guys, like I said, it kind of changes the feel of the deck where you're not getting enough on your top end. So just 3 of this one. Win sideline, draw a card. This is going to be the one you're killing a lot with your killing character effects, I promise you. Really good card. Now we're going into a really amazing card in the deck. It's kind of surprising that this one has a draw trigger in it because maybe it's like the strongest card. Tione, 0 energy, 1 action point, 1500 BP, 1 energy. It has the draw trigger in life, which is really essential. That's why we're maxing out at a 4 of. But then it also has such an amazing effect. When sidelined, choose one of the following. Choose up to 1 character on your field and move it to the other line. Or you may choose 1 character on both your frontline energy line and swap them out. Really cool, awesome effect here. Whether you're using it, proactively during your turn to move characters up and down, or, when you go to block during your opponent's turn. Say you block with this Tione and you had 4 characters out, right? Now, once the Tione blocks and gets killed, you can bring one of your characters up from your back line to the front line now. Now you have an extra blocker. So this card is really essential and key to keeping you in the game and not taking too much damage early. This card is super strong, amazing for the deck. Promise you, max out on it. Super good. Now to the lower 6, lower ranked demon. This is the cool one with the tattoos on the face. 0 energy, 1 action point, 2000 BP, 1 energy. When sideline, draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. So cycle for the deck. When you get sideline, you draw a card, trash a card. This one's really, really good. Love to see this one in the deck. We're only playing this one at a 3 of because I just think the Tione in the lower 4 that we're coming up on next is a lot better. But we are still running a bunch of zeros, so we're not worried about it too bad. It does not have a trigger, though, which kind of sucks. Going down to the lower 4, lower ranked demon, 0 energy, 1 action point, 1000 BP, 1 energy generation, and a simple awesome effect. When sideline, draw a card. So you can see here with these lower ranks, when sideline, draw a card, place 1 from your hand. When sideline, draw a card. You're getting some value back to your hand and into your sideline by being able to sideline these characters and, cycle into the Muzan. That's all the characters. I promise you, this seems to be like a lot more of a consistent way to play the deck. I've seen a lot of people maxing out on the lowers and Muzans, but I feel like this Enmu and the Akaza give you a little bit more of way of keeping yourself alive in the game and then providing some pressure as opposed to just going all the lowers. And I feel like in those versions of the deck, you're killing your stuff too much and not having anything to block with. But going on to the events, we are running 4 of our special trigger. This card is so awesome. Lower your heads and crouch down. Prostrate yourselves. Really cool, awesome. Muzan just being so cool and intimidating. It is our special trigger. Choose one of your character on your opponent's front line to sideline it. Love to see it in line. 3 energy. It only costs 3 energy, 1 action point, which is awesome because you're going to use this card early, like I said, to keep yourself in the game. So you could just have a Muzan and 1 person back, and now you can sideline stuff because it says sideline 1 character on your field. If you do, choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line and sideline it. Any character, super strong card. Any character on their front line, you just get to clear it out. Super strong. And you get to draw a card. So it's replacing the body that you just killed. You're going to kill that body. One of the bodies is going to let you draw a card, trash a card. This card's going to let you draw a card. And that's how you get your cycle going. This card, 4 of, absolutely. And then Muzan's Blood. This is really cool. This is just your final trigger. 3 energy, 1 action point. Get 2 of your AP back to active. And then another key card in the deck, this is the last card we'll go over for the deck, is Purge. It only costs 2 energy, 1 action point, so you're able to do this card with only 1 Muzan in your energy line, which is very relevant, very important, because like I said, you're moving a lot of your other guys up early to take as a little shield wall for you. Just Muzan using his, resources to keep himself in the game. It's a draw trigger in life, which is absolutely awesome. We love that. I really wanted to find a way to make this card at a 4 of, but I feel like I needed the bodies. If there was one switch up maybe you wanted to do, I could say maybe you could take the Muzan down to 3 of and max out of a 4 of this card. This card says sideline 1 character on your field. If you do, choose up to 1 of your action point cards and switch it to active. So it's like a free card if you kill something, and then draw 2 cards. But the way that this card is worded, you sideline 1 character on your field. If you do, choose up to 1 of your action points and switch it to active. So that part is a stipulation. The draw 2 is always there. So you don't always have to sideline 1 character on your field. You always get to draw 2 cards, but if you do sideline something, you get the action point back. So this card is a little interesting with the way it works that way. Really cool card. I love this card, and it gives you that draw power in the deck because you're going to draw 2 off of this, sideline 1 of your characters, draw 1, trash 1. That's already, 3 or 4 cards you cycle through the deck. This deck is really fun. I really hope you guys, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. I do think that the payoff is really strong. The only issue this deck has is that it's a little slower, and the game is getting, where people can push the pace with their raids. You only have the Enmu raids, so I do say that the games that you see Enmu in, your games go a lot better because you have some pressure to kind of combat your opponent. But don't play this deck like you're trying to push early. Play like you're trying to get your Muzan out, and that's your main focus. Because once you do that and you get the habit of doing it, you will see that the payoff for the Muzan is so strong because he's 5,000 BP, a really sticky hard body to get up. But anyways, that's the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. Please like the video. Leave comments down below what you think about this, what changes you would make, and please subscribe to the channel. I love making these deck profiles for everyone. Thanks. Peace.